think the top attributes for a financial planner that I was looking for me, were someone who was honest, and then genuine, which relates a bit to honesty, and also someone who has the skills or the knowledge to then put your financial plans into play. For me, Marcel is local to this area. When I met him, I was able to meet him face to face. I did look at other financial planners, but it would have been via email or via Zoom, and it was important to me that I could meet him face to face and actually gauge what sort of person he was and how genuine he was. So those two things were easy to pick up in the first meeting, that he was quite genuine and honest. We have kids that go to the same school, so he's definitely a local in this area, and that meant a lot to me. As far as skills, straight away I could see that Marcel had the skills, because there were things that he came up with in our plan that I'd never thought about and didn't even know existed. So it was great to see that we could implement those in my financial plan as well. So I went looking for a financial planner about 4 or 5 years ago. I'd never used one before. I'm at a stage of life where I've been in my career for quite a while now, and I'm earning fairly good money, and I just realised that I didn't have much of a plan with what we were doing with the money. You know, we had money coming in and we were living quite a comfortable life, but I could see that we still had a mortgage, and I just realised we didn't have a plan. So I went looking for a financial planner because I realised I didn't have the skill set to make those plans. And I figured, if I'm going to hire a builder to build a house, why wouldn't I hire a financial planner to build wealth? So that was my reasoning behind seeking one out, and then just getting everything. And Marcel's been able to help us to make that plan, come up with our goals, and then put the money into certain places, and then implement that plan, and then basically watch it as it grows. In 2020, a friend of ours passed away. She was a single parent and had one daughter, and we became guardians for that daughter, and her mother had an estate that we needed to manage. So on top of getting to a stage of life where we didn't feel like we had a plan, we also needed to do something with the estate that had come from the death of our friend. So Marcel was able to help us to move that money into a managed fund, and then be able to use that money to help my daughter with things in the future, and also make sure that the capital is protected, while also making a financial plan separate to that for our finances personally. So when I met with Marcel, I talked to him about the estate that we had for the daughter that we're now guardians for, and I could see that Marcel was genuinely moved by what had happened in our life in 2020 and where we were now with being guardians for this new daughter. And I could see that he genuinely wanted to help us to put those funds in an area where they're protected, and also would generate an income that would allow those funds to be used in the future for our daughter. Life was very busy up until the last 5 years, and still continues to be busy, but I started to think about sort of midlife now, and I haven't really thought about a plan for the future. So for me, I started to think I really wanted to be out of debt as soon as possible, and then I thought, oh, maybe that's unrealistic to think I'll be out of debt, in a few years, but maybe I should think about at least being out of debt by retirement. I don't want to be giving up working and having that income in and then still having that debt. So I thought about, it was actually the carport I built here at the house that made me think about it, which is a funny thing. I wanted to build a carport and realised I didn't have the skills, so I hired a professional to build the carport. And I said that to Marcel when I first met him and I engaged his services. I said, well, I wanted to build wealth and I don't have the skill set, so why wouldn't I find somebody who has that skill set? So we put in the plan to basically pay off my debt by the time I retired. We worked out the age and we worked out the plan, and then that gets reviewed all the time. So things could change. We may be able to pay it off sooner depending on how things go. So we keep reviewing that process along the way. So when I decided to engage a financial planner, I actually just went onto Google and looked online and came up with a few options, and actually made inquiries with a few But Marcel's business was local, and for me, being able to actually eyeball somebody and speak to them face to face was important, because I'd be able to gauge how honest and how genuine they really were, and whether they were actually any good at doing what they say they do. So being local was important to me, and that's why when I met Marcel, I was pretty confident that we were onto a good thing. The other thing he's done is put my super into a different area, and that has grown quite substantially, gone up about 130, 140,000 in the last 2 years, and I haven't seen it grow like that up until that point. So I feel like that's working. The plan's working there. Whatever Marcel's doing in the background with the super and where he's diversified it is working, and it's going to allow us to achieve our goal, and possibly even achieve our goal earlier. Before engaging with Jacobs Financial, I didn't have a financial plan at all, and was even, I guess, a little bit anxious about what was going to happen. I used to often think about, how much money will I have when I retire? Will I, So for me, it was great to be able to engage with their services and now actually have a plan. It's not 100% guarantee. I guess nothing in life is, but at least now I have a plan, and it actually enables me to relax a bit more and think, well, at least we've got a plan to get a certain goal achieved, and then we can work on that plan as time goes on, but straight away we've got a plan in place. Working with Marcel has been good. I find him quite genuine. We get on quite well. I've actually been out trail running once with Marcel and a few of his clients. So it's, and he's often ringing or emailing me. So I feel like in the background, Marcel's always looking at our super. So I feel like he's looking out for us, because then he will ring us when there's times where he needs to move money from different places. So he's got our best interests, I guess, at heart. And then it hasn't been a time where he's rung me and said, "Hey Dave, can I move this money to here? I think it will be better off." I'll be like, "Sure." It sounds like a great thing. So we're able to speak with Marcel pretty much whenever we like. I have his personal mobile number. We text, we email, we talk. And meetings are, you feel like you're being heard, because it's such a small business that the people that work with Marcel know who you are personally, and they know your story. So it's really good working with a smaller business. So when you first get your financial plan, Marcel will present it to you in person. So you go for a meeting, sits down and explains everything to you, which is great, very easy to understand, and then gives you a document to take away which has all the details for you to review for later. Annually, we go back for a face-to-face meeting, and we review the plan, we look at the results. They're presented very easily on graphs and things, and Marcel can show you what things have grown, where things are sitting, and he's able to give you all that information in a really plain language, so very easy to understand. We've got super sitting in different funds that Marcel has set up, and then we've got a cash flow account, and it seems on the surface quite basic, but just having that expertise to be able to do things along the way. So things like Marcel was able to use some of my super transferred into my wife's super account, which brings her super up, and her super matures before mine, so we can access those funds earlier. Things like that I wouldn't have known about, but obviously a financial planner has those ideas and is able to implement those plans.